Very much everybody for today's attendance. Bittersweet, it's my last council meeting, but I'm sure the morality is going to be in extreme safe hands. Can we just stay standing while Reverend Matthew Robinson says prayers? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for Kath and her service to this town in her year as mayor. We thank you for her faithfulness, her willingness to serve, and we pray your blessing upon her as she finishes her time in this role. And we pray for Gillian as she steps into that new role, that she would also be empowered by all that she needs to serve this town in all the ways you have called her to. And we pray for the town of Blackpool, that you would pour out your blessing upon it, that it would be a place where people grow in happiness, in love, that it would be a place where justice flows like a river. We pray that this will be a place marked by your blessing and favour, so that all who live here may thrive and flourish together. We pray all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to sit down. It would be remiss of me not to welcome re-elected councillors and welcome to all our newly elected councillors. It's so lovely to see an equal representation of men and women in the chamber, so welcome to you all. Just a few housekeeping rules to new members. Please be seated in your seats for voting purposes. Please raise your hand in the usual way, and can I ask councillors to turn off their microphone when they're not speaking, and the formal rules of debate will apply. So moving swiftly on, election of mayor, item 1, and I believe it's Councillor Badès to propose.
Thank you, Lady Mayor. I'll use the correct form of wording at the end of what I'm saying. So, if I said that Councillor Campbell is a Bowie superfan, that would be an understatement. So, I've taken the liberty of peppering this motion with Bowie song titles, and I'll give the first tenor to the Mayor's charity for the first person who gets them all correct. Councillor Campbell was born and raised on a council house estate in Dalkeith, just outside of Edinburgh, and moved to Blackpool in October 2000. She's the eldest of 3 children, and her entire family still reside in Scotland. Her father Ian and her mother Mary have made the journey to the town hall to celebrate with her today. And though her late grandfather always dreamed that she would become a police officer, he'd think everything is hunky-dory today. Gillian says, if my 16-year-old self could have seen this moment lying ahead of her, she would probably have laughed for a month. But I would also see this experience as a better future than I could ever have imagined. Gillian has always loved animals and began her working career at Edinburgh Zoo. I don't think she found Joe the lion, but she will certainly have looked after a fair few scary monsters before she went to university in her mid-30s to study for her BA Honours degree in Social Policy and Health, which has been incredibly useful in her roles within the council. In the last 12 years, the knowledge she gained during her degree has helped her see off the neighbourhood threats and support the heroes. Her second child, Regan, was born the day after she stood in her first election in Highfield Ward, but it was her third attempt that saw her elected councillor in Park Ward, where she is proud to have served for 12 golden years, and from 2015, spending 5 years as deputy leader of the council, dancing with the big boys at last. Additionally, Gillian works for a local Sainsbury's store, and as their community champion, she's helping them to work for a better future too. One thing we have in common is our love of music and going to live gigs in our spare time. Rumour has it that among Gillian's pin-ups are David Bowie, Prince, and Youngblood. And believe you me, she's the first one to get up and say, let's dance, and then rock and roll with me till dawn. She believes that a love of music keeps you young and healthy, and so do I. Being a single parent to Xavier, Regan and Sky since 2012, she understands the struggles of being a single parent and striking a balance between work and family life. Gillian's youngest daughter, Skye, is mayoress for this mayoral year, and she is delighted that Skye has agreed to do so, as she hopes it will send a powerful message to all the young dudes of the town to dream big and aim high. Though not religious, Gillian respects all other faiths, so it will be straight into business when the mayor presides over meetings, and consequently, we will notice changes in the way she upholds the tradition of the civic celebration at the end of her term, but takes the opportunity to celebrate it in a novel and inclusive way. Gillian's mayoral charities for this year are Blackpool Food Bank and Counselling in the Community, and she looks forward to working with as many individuals as possible to fill your heart to help to raise much needed funds for these two very worthy causes, and invites all councillors and officers to get involved. After all that, I hope I have convinced you that Councillor Gillian Campbell will not only be a worthy mayor who will be a fantastic ambassador for the town, but also a mayor who will embrace this role as not just as the ultimate privilege to serve, but an opportunity to inject some fun into the town and take us with her on a brilliant adventure starting from tonight. I, Councillor Burdis, propose that in accordance with and subject to provisions of the Local Government Act 1972, Councillor Gillian Campbell be appointed Mayor of the Borough of Blackpool for the municipal year of 2023 to 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Burdess, and I believe it's Councillor Williams to second.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, very happy to second. I'm slightly limited by what I can say because I know she's watching, so we'll keep it to the point. Gillian will be the third in in a short line of three of strong Labour women who have been mayors of this wonderful, great town of ours. And I'm sure she'll do it with her own individual style. There'll be less kitten heels, I think, this mayorship. But I know that she'll have a fantastic year. And what a brilliant speech from Paula, I think, kind of summed up all that we feel. And our best wishes to Gillian and to Skye. Well done. Thank you.
hello. Some familiar faces here. Lovely to see everybody. Can everybody be seated, please? Thank you. Okay, so I've got a form of words that I need to read out, so excuse me for a moment. I, Councillor Gillian Campbell, having been elected to the office of Mayor of the Blackpool Borough Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the Civic Handbook and the Code as to the conduct which is expected of members of the Blackpool Borough Council. Thank you. That's the official part over and done with for me. Thank you. It's very strange sitting up here. It's very... They asked me the other night if I wanted to sit in it, and I was like, no, we'll leave it until the day. And it's lovely. So, thank you. So, I'm now going... Sorry, leader. You have to bear with me. This is all completely new to me. I don't know. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Okay, so now it's on to the Deputy Mayor. So I've just got a very short speech about Adrian. So whilst I may have only known Adrian a fairly short period of time, I was delighted when he was selected to fight the election alongside me in Park Ward. We have bonded over our huge love of David Bowie. He's the first person I've met whose passion for music matches mine, and that says something. When I asked him on the evening of the 4th of May if he would do me the honour of being my Deputy Mayor, if I did decide to take the mayoralty, it was safe to say that he was a little taken aback after becoming a councillor only hours beforehand. After a weekend of thought for both of us, and for him, consultation with the wonderful Sharon, we both accepted the positions. And thank you to agreeing to being the Deputy Mayoress, Sharon. I'm delighted that he's accepted the position. We've already had a few conversations about who would be best in attending which events and how we'd like to mix things up a little this year when it comes to getting Park and the wider community of Blackpool involved in our year. The last couple of weeks have been a bit of a whirlwind for both of us, so further details will follow once we've firmed them up. I look forward to working with him on a ward and a mayoral level for the next year. So, that in accordance with and subject to the provisions of the Local Government Act 1972, Councillor Major Adrian Hoyle be appointed Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Blackpool for the municipal year 2023 to 2024. And can I ask, do members all agree?
Seconded.
Oh, sorry, second.
Very happy to second, Mayor. Got it right?
Got it right. Do all members agree? In that case, thank you, Joel.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Mayor and Mayoress for the 2023-2024 is Councillor Major Adrian Hoyle.
Congratulations, Councillor. Can I ask you to read the acceptance of office declaration?
I, Councillor Major Adrian Hoyle, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Blackpool Borough Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the Civic Handbook and the Code as to the conduct which is expected of members of the Blackpool Borough Council. Thank you.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. Okay, so now on to the previous mayor, Councillor Benson, who comes in. Got my name on. Sorry. I knew she followed me in, but I didn't know where she went. I just seen the empty seat. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'd just like to say thank you to Kath and Therese for all the work that they've done in the past year. So I've been given a few notes, which I've edited this morning. So Kath and Therese attended many events during the mayoral year. For example, the UK Bus Driver of the Year Award, the meeting of the Royal Pigeon Racing Association, my dad would have loved that, to be fair, and the USDO conference. I'm sure she's done much more than that, all these little things that we get asked to do, but those are the main ones that I've been given. They also attended the Blackpool Armed Forces Week in June, and as always, the event was a great success, attracting thousands of visitors to the town. Kath has taken a great interest in attending many events for young people, including school and college events, scouts and guides, an example myself and Councillor Hoyle intend to follow. Kath and Therese also enjoyed welcoming our new citizens to the town at the popular citizenship ceremonies. There have been a number of significant royal occasions during the mayoral year. The Mayor and Mayoress attended various Platinum Jubilee celebrations for Her Majesty the Queen in early June. The Mayor and Mayoress also attended events marking Her Majesty the Queen's passing away in September, when Kath had to make the sad announcement at the end of a special council meeting. Kath also had the honour of reading the proclamation of the new King in St John's Square to the people of Blackpool. Kath chose to support Street Life as her charity this mayoral year, and both her and Therese very bravely sat throughout the night for the charity's big sleep out in March. They also held various events to raise funds and hosted a marvellous mayoral charity ball at the football club in March, which had great support from everyone involved, making a considerable sum for Street Life. Special reference must go to the Deputy Mayor and Deputy Mayoress, Peter and Anne-Marie Hunter, for their support and contribution to this mayoral year. And many thanks to the Council for your service. Also, thanks to Reverend Peter Lillycrap and his curate Matthew Robinson, who acted as Mayor's chaplains and have both assisted at council meetings and other civic events. And of course, a great big thank you to the Mayoress, Catherine's sister Therese, who ably supported Catherine at all major events throughout the year. Thank you, Kath, for your service as Mayor. I hope that you've enjoyed your time and that the honour of serving as Mayor will stay with you forever. You have left a huge legacy behind you with all the amazing things that you have done for the town over the past year, and I can only hope that I do half as good a job as you. Kath, on behalf of the Council, I want to thank you very much, and we extend our very good wishes for the future. Thank you very much. Okay, group leaders, would you like to speak at all? Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I mean, those who know Kath well, we weren't entirely sure how the role would fit. We knew that the role would have an abundance of uncontrolled energy. How that would fit, we'd not be able to sit still, non-stop chatting, and obviously a love of lunches. But we also got dignity, calm, responsible, appropriateness, and so a big thank you goes to Therese. But most importantly, Kath, what we've seen is that we know, and what the town now sees, is your absolute love and pride in the town and the people. That has been evident in all the various events that I have attended with you. And it's a very underrated skill, empathy and understanding. And you have brought an absolute joy to the role, and it's been wonderful to see you absolutely excel, and you've had a fantastic year, and you should be incredibly proud. We're all very proud of you. Well done.
Councillor Galley.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my first speech ever as the Leader of the Opposition. I couldn't have a better one to do than to say thank you. Thank you also to, obviously, your Deputy, Peter Hunter, and the Mayoress and the Deputy Mayoress. You covered quite a historic time for us. This was one of those few occasions in that time where, one of those moments where were you when you heard the news? And the night of June, I think it was it July, June or July, when we had that thank you event, and it was a really happy occasion. And then the sad news came through about the passing of Her Majesty, and it was one of those rare occasions where you could hear a pin drop. It was a very moving moment, and you were the one that broke that news. And wherever we go, we will always remember you just for that alone. And then a few days later, as is often the way with any passing of anybody, is the start of regeneration and a birth of something new. And on the following Sunday, we had the King's proclamation, and again, it was beautifully delivered. It brought the town together at a difficult time for many. So alongside all of that, as others have alluded to, you've attended lots of different functions, you've supported some great causes, and you've done Blackpool proud. So on behalf of the Conservative group and many people who couldn't be here today, we wanted to say thank you. A job well done. You've not only done it whilst you've carried out a full-time job, you've also had to work through some challenging moments as we work towards the recent local elections. And again, you've been brilliant. So thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Hugo, I believe you'd like to say something.
Yes, on behalf of Street Life, I'd like to thank Madam Mayor Kath Benson for choosing Street Life as her charity. Her efforts, along with the Mayoress, the Deputy Mayor and the Deputy Mayoress, provided many opportunities over the last 12 months to raise funds for vulnerable young people in our town. Our team at Street Life have loved every minute of it, and we will ensure the funds raised will be put to good use. So thank you to you and to everyone who supported the events. Thank you.
Anyone else who'd like to speak? Councillor Taylor.
I don't know, Mayor, whether I'm in order at the moment, but you'll put me right, I'm sure, if I'm not in order. But I just wanted to say something, and my thanks and the council's thanks to Councillor Peter Hunter in his role as the Deputy Mayor, the retired Mayor. He's done a fantastic job, and I'm sure the retired Mayor would agree with that. Very conscientious. I know he's loved every minute of it, as Anne-Marie has too, I'm sure. It's something you never forget when you've done these offices. It's something you remember for the rest of your life. But I think the council would very much like to put on record our appreciation of Peter and his wife for all that they've done during the year on behalf of Blackpool and this council.
I certainly agree with that, Councillor Taylor. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? No? Thank you. I get the wonderful joy of giving this to Kath.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Some lovely flowers. This is lovely.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, Councillor Benson, you now have your opportunity to respond.
Thank you. It's nice to sit on a seat that my feet touch the floor. Anyway. Thank you so much for those extremely kind words. And may I by first to congratulate Councillor Campbell on her appointment as Mayor. Also, can I congratulate Councillor Hoyle as Deputy Mayor. So, the mayoralty is in very safe hands. I've had an absolutely wonderful year. Being Mayor is a privilege and as born and bred Sandgronan, and to represent your hometown is the greatest honour. I don't think anybody has or knows the significance of the role until you undertake it, and I'll be first to say that how important it is, and until you actually do it, you don't understand. Sorry. Fred again. Are we right? Yeah. As Mayor, you are representing the town and raising civic pride, and this last year I've been so proud of our town and its citizens. As Mayor, you're in a privileged position of seeing and meeting with the best of Blackpool. I wanted to focus in my mayoral year on our wonderful communities, and I've met with hundreds of people who work in the community, mostly volunteers who make Blackpool a better place to live. The volunteers who work with our young people to raise aspirations, our scout and guiding groups who help young people develop life skills and skills for life. The Princess Trust who take our young people and provide that life-changing support to help them realise their potential. I also must make a special mention of Park School Band and the young people who came to play at one of our Christmas parlours. Unfortunately, the morning was cancelled at the last minute due to some issues in the town hall, but the band played on with an impromptu concert on the town hall steps. It was a rather chilly December morning, but the young people did not want to disappoint, and they adamant they wanted to perform. So the year started off at pace with the late Queen's Jubilee. I think we beat the world record for attending tea parties and street parties, 3 in 6 days. It was a tough job, but he took that challenge on. The late Queen's passing and representing the town at Preston Flag Market with mayors from all over the county, then coming back to Blackpool to read the royal proclamation. I always struggled. Proclamation to the citizens of Blackpool was a deep honour, and the year finished with the coronation of the King. We met royalty with the visit of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, who was meeting inspirational young people who were undertaking their Duke of Edinburgh Awards. A dance with Pasha from Strictly. Obviously he remembers that as much as I do. I walked the whole length of Bispham at the annual gala. I was inspired by our Ukrainian families at a special evening to welcome them to Blackpool and to thank the host families for their support and extreme kindness to the families that had settled here. I was delighted to be asked to open the new respite facility in Ambleside. This was a special pleasure for me, as I know from my working life what a lifetime this much needed facility is to our service users and their families. I opened the new children's section in Leighton Library, a bright, welcoming space for families and children. I've been in this morning and the sound of laughter and singing and wheels on the bus. I've got that wheels on the bus going round. But it's absolutely wonderful. One of the nicest things. I wish to thank everybody for their donations to the mayoral charity. Thank you for your overwhelming generosity. What we raised will go towards helping and supporting our most vulnerable residents at Street Life. I'm pleased to announce that we raised nearly £22,000. Cake sales, cocktail evenings, raffles and a mayoral ball with nearly 300 people attending. Learned some special things about people as you go along. Councillor Hugo's very bossy, assertive. You knew that. But she there all the way. Thank you, Jane. Special thank you to my sister Therese, my mayoress, who has supported me and put up with me for nearly 12 months. Always making sure I was on time. Have you got your glasses? Have you got your speech? No one ever did. Anyway. And looking after and taking Paddy out for walks when I was unavailable. Peter and Anne-Marie Hunter for supporting me as Deputy Mayor and Mayoress. They have been an absolute asset to me and to Blackpool. Both carried out their roles with dignity and graciousness. But of course, a mayoral team cannot do those duties without a team behind them. So thank you, Colin, Alan and Howie, the mayoral attendants, for your invaluable help and support during the year. Hopefully we didn't cause you too much trouble. To Liz, thank you for all your help and advice during the year and keeping us order. I always look forward to Wednesdays and her emails and morning chats. Thank you, Liz, for everything. The ladies from the catering team for serving hundreds of cups of tea and coffees and refreshments. You were absolutely wonderful. And of course, my mayoral chaplain, Reverend Peter Lillycrap and Reverend Matthew Robinson, for your spiritual guidance and wise words of wisdom before full council and helping organise the Thanksgiving service at St Mark's. It was a truly joyful celebration to finish the year off. Thank you to everybody who has contributed and helped made it a year to remember. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councillor Benson. So, on to me. Yeah, it's not as long as Councillor Benson's, thankfully. Maybe at the end it will be, yeah, with all the things that I do. So, when Adrian and I won on Friday the 4th of May, Mark Towers told me fairly quickly that if the two people who were ahead of me in seniority turned down the position, I was next in line to be mayor. I have to be honest and say that I never ever thought that I would be sitting in this seat, as I came last in the draw from the hat following my election in 2011. I went home that day and I spoke to my children and I sent a few text messages to friends like Leah, who's sitting there, and everyone said the same: go for it. It's a fantastic honour to be asked to do something like this. So here I am. I can only hope that I can serve the people of Blackpool well. Blackpool's my adopted home, as you can understand. This is not a local accent, but I've been here for a long time now. Not sand-grown though, unfortunately. I would also like just to take this opportunity to say thank you to my long-suffering children. They have tolerated 12 years of me saying that I've got a meeting, I've got to go to this event, can you come out canvassing with me, do you want to go leafleting, as we all know. They've put up with it all, and I really appreciate it. So thank you to Xavi, Regan and Skye, with a very special thank you to Skye, who's agreed to be my mayoress for the year, and has, in fact, just sat the second paper of our English Lit GCSE this morning before coming to put the mayoral chains on for the first time. So thank you very much, Skye. Also, a big thank you to my group who have supported me over the years with all the positions that I've held in the council, especially big thank you to Ivan and Lynn. And a huge thank you to Paula for proposing me as mayor. Not sure if everybody got the Bowie references, but I certainly did. Lastly, thank you to my family and friends for coming to share in this special day. Alex, thank you for travelling all the way from Scotland. You must love me, either that or you just fancied a night out in Blackpool. And also to my mum and dad, Ian and Mary Campbell, who also travelled from Scotland, got the train and everything. Thank you so much for coming, and also for instilling in me the socialist values that have made me the person I am today. So thank you, everybody. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Councillor Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Congratulations again. I'm going to read a letter from the Mayor of Bottrop, Bern Tischler. Dear Councillor Campbell, on the occasion of your election as a new Mayor of Blackpool, we congratulate you on behalf of the Council of the City of Bottrop and the administration as well as personally. We are delighted that you, as a committed politician, will now represent the town of Blackpool. We hope that the partnership between Blackpool and Bottrop will continue to develop and deepen under your leadership. The tasks ahead of you are becoming more and more demanding in the present time. Therefore, we wish you a happy hand and much success at all times. Have a lot of energy as well as much pleasure in your work to achieve the best for the people of your town. With the best regards from your town twinning partner, Bottrop. Pass that to you.
Councillor Galley.
Thank you, Mayor. I like that, no prefix. It makes life a lot easier. For anyone who doesn't know, we've spent the last 5-6 years trying to wrestle with which prefix to use, so no prefix works. We are the few remaining members of the 2011 club. There's only Councillor Smith and myself and yourself. As you're the Mayor, you can chair that club. When we first started in 2011, very similar occasion as this, we had lots of new members, lots of new faces, and we were one of those new faces. In that time, you've done an incredible job. I went and looked at your LinkedIn profile last night and reminded myself, like some kind of councillor stalker version. And in that time, I realised just how many things you've actually done for Blackpool in a policy sense as well. So those first 4 years, the Mayor was running a housing portfolio in Blackpool, and that is really significant because obviously the one silver bullet that we've often looked at for what could fix some of our challenges and problems has been identified as housing. And Mayor at the time worked alongside obviously the previous leader and created a company called My Blackpool Homes, which was actually a really radical, revolutionary approach, proactive in dealing with some of those long-held challenges. Moving on then in your career, you then went on and took on tourism in Blackpool. And the amount of references about slime that I came across in this and how enthusiastically you talked about it. And there are so many positive things on that point. But crucially, though, actually it wasn't just about the commentary, the narration of that. What came alongside all of those positive, happy references that are easy to make in anybody that runs tourism in Blackpool was actually some of the investment that went on alongside of that, the hotels, the infrastructure, and the planning that starts us on this next journey. So you've been right at the heart of that. Obviously, you were also the deputy leader. So you can be incredibly proud of some of the big policy changes. Equally the same in the ward. Grange is often talked now as a great example of best practice in community work. And I know some of the people involved, and I've stolen some of their ideas, so I know how good it is. And again, your role hasn't gone unnoticed there. So I couldn't think of a better mayor. I also think it's brilliant that it's a Scottish mayor, because the amount of people that run our trams and buses and other parts of our infrastructure in Blackpool are from Scotland, as anybody knows who's worked in that field. And I think that sends a great message that anybody can come to Blackpool, myself included, yourself, and be really successful and end up becoming our first citizens. So well done. And finally, I couldn't miss an email I had just before I came here today from Simon, our previous council leader, who wanted to say how proud he is of you both, Skye and yourself, Mayor. He wanted to be here, but is currently in Spelonga. I think I pronounced that correctly. He will come and support you in different events whenever he can, and he wanted you to know he's hugely proud of you, Skye, and yourself for all that hard work. So, again, on behalf of the Conservative Group, we can't wait to see how you chair these meetings. I suspect that everyone will be calling points of orders at different points as you hit that hammer on us. But thank you for what you've done, and we look very much forward to what you're going to do.
Thank you very much, Councillor Galley. Anyone else wishing to speak, or is that embarrassment over? Fabulous, I think it is. Okay, so in that case, we've had the letter from Bottrop. Can I ask that the guests retire to the Mayor's Parlour for tea and coffee, while the council actually goes about a little bit of business that we've got to do. So I'll see you all through there shortly. Thank you very much. Well, now we can talk about them. Right. Okay, so on to the agenda. So first of all, we've got declarations of interest. You have to bear with me if I don't know your name straight away, if you're a new councillor, or even if you're not a new councillor, it's going to take me a little bit to figure out where everybody's sitting. So, declarations of interest. Does anyone have any interest they'd like to declare? No? Fabulous. Okay, so in that case, minutes of the last meeting, held on the 22nd of February 2023. Does everyone agree they're a true and correct record? Agreed? Thank you. Announcements. I don't have any announcements, you'll be glad to know. There'll be an announcement at a later date, I would imagine, to let you know exactly what Councillor Hoyle and I have planned for our civic year, but at the moment, nothing. So on to election of the leader of the council. Councillor Taylor.
Yes, Mayor, it's my great privilege and pleasure to propose that Councillor Lynn Williams be appointed leader of the council to serve for a 4-year term of office until the annual council meeting in 2027. I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Hugo.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm extremely pleased to second Councillor Lynn Williams as leader of the council. Lynn has been a superb force for Blackpool Council since she became leader 3 years ago. She has put her heart and soul into creating a strong and kind council, a Blackpool with a great sense of community. Lynn's leadership and vision has helped attract a huge amount of investment to the town, and I am sure we will see this snowball over the next 4 years. I'm particularly proud of Lynn's achievement in ensuring our Labour group has a 50-50 gender split, another first for the town. All in all, I can think of no better leader to take our brilliant town forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hugo. Any other speakers? No? Oh, Councillor Galley, sorry.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to sort of roughly approach how we're going to do this, because we've got 4 years, and for those that don't know, it was quite a challenging time, the last 12 months of the previous council. So I wanted to position the Conservative group of where we stand as we move forward, and there's an item about what do full councils start to look like coming up. I wanted us to position ourselves as a critical friend to the council that will be like a best friend. It will always tell you when you're wrong, it will tell you when you're right and say well done. And those are always the best friends. We wanted to vote for you to be the leader. It recognises, obviously, that you won the election and that your own party has supported you. We have, however, wanted to highlight in our role as critical friend a number of concerns that we've already picked up in the 18 days, the 19 days since the election result. If we prime that with what Keir Starmer is saying that he wants these new Labour councils to do, he wants them to work on 100 days of action. How are those Labour councils across the country going to do with the cost of living crisis? And he set that challenge. We've seen in York a number of pledges already have been made from their new Labour council. When we contrast that to Blackpool, we've not had those pledges. We don't know what you want to do. When we look at some of the challenges we've had in terms of being able to put committees and boards together, only yesterday we were in a position to actually find out what that looked like. That's why we got the paperwork so late. 5 Labour positions removed from those boards now, and that's not a position for us to discuss today, I understand. It's not in the agenda. But it must be referenced. 5 Labour positions were not given in boards. Where was the democratic discussion around that? There will be no Conservative representation on the Transport Board. We don't know even what those pledges are. There comes a time, leader, and as your critical friend, this is my advice, that all of your successors have had to wrestle with, and your predecessors the same, and that is do I become a full-time council leader or do I stay as a part-time council leader? And that's not a criticism of any individual. It is something that all council leaders have to wrestle with. The time commitment alone, the challenges and how we manage all of these different things are absolutely crucial. So as a Conservative group, we, as your critical friend, will vote no today. That's not that we don't recognise you as the leader and we don't recognise the result. Labour won those local elections. There's no discussion about that. But what we are saying is we're 19 days in. There's only 81 days left of this 100 days left. Please do something that recognises those pledges that have been asked of you elsewhere, but crucially give us the leadership that the town desperately wants to do all the things that have gone before you and will hopefully go ahead in the future. We need you to deliver, and as your critical friend, we will hold you account to obviously what is then promised in those pledges that hopefully we will see. That's why we will vote against, but hopefully we'll be wrong and you will be right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Galley. Any other speakers? Councillor Williams.
Thank you. So I'm not sure. We did actually ensure that a copy of our manifesto was sent to every address in Ankersholme, but you've obviously haven't received it at Councillor Galley, so I'll make sure that you get one of those. That was a fully detailed, set-out manifesto that obviously chimes with the people of Blackpool, hence the numbers on this side. I'm not setting out to be, in response to your critical friend post, but really setting off, talking about not understanding or lack of leadership. I think from the very first meeting when we just had the election results is a little naive. We will fight for the town in the cost of living crisis. That was that was our top line of our manifesto: a cleaner, greener, safer Blackpool. As I say, I'll let you have a copy and we can discuss it if you wish. I don't think it's, as long as I deliver, and I don't think there has been any issue raised in terms of not delivering for this town. And again, I repeat in terms of our election results about my position as leader or delivering as leader. And I will do what is necessary and work the number of hours that is necessary for this town. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Councillor Taylor, you have a right to reply.
No, nothing. Very much forward to a constructive dialogue between us and the opposition in the next 4 years, because we've all got a part to play. And I just congratulate also Lynn on her election. I was first elected to the council in 1966, so I've known quite a few leaders in that time. But I have to say, of all of them, Lynn has more energy and demonstrates than anybody I've ever met. She tires me out just telling me what she's been doing. So she has great dedication to this town. She was born in Blackpool, loves the place, and I think she's a really good leader, and I'm very pleased to be her deputy. So that's all I have to say. But I'd like to thank you for your constructive speech, and I think that's the way forward, isn't it? And I've had people from your side, from the Conservative side, have said that to me over the last few weeks. Sometimes the Arbu thing is okay up to a point, but it gets a bit boring after that, doesn't it? So we need to move on from that and talk reality and meaningfully between the two of us, real working together, so that we're doing what we need to do to take this town forward. So my congratulations to you for your election as leader of the Conservative group. Well done. And all the rest of your colleagues for being re-elected to this council. So thanks, Lynn, for everything you do. You're brilliant.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. So, do you want to pop your... That's it. Thank you. So we move to the vote. All those for? Against? Abstain? Motion carried. Congratulations, Councillor Williams. Okay, so moving on, we have a scrutiny lead member, and I believe that's over to you, Councillor Williams. I keep pressing the wrong button, sorry, chap.
I wonder what the ding-dong was for. Am I on? Thank you, Mayor. So, this is in relation to the appointment of lead member for scrutiny, which will be the leader of the opposition. Obviously, in my hand, this is the report, the scrutiny continuous improvement from North West employers, and it would just draw attention to one paragraph, which talks about the creation of the Scrutiny Leadership Board has provided greater clarity and strategic oversight, and that was from 4 years ago, and the implementation from that initial review of scrutiny and the implementation. And this review has highlighted the good practice and is a very positive report. It picks up a couple of key themes which I think are important in terms, because scrutiny is incredibly important to this council. And I'm quoting directly from this, that there is now more opportunity to identify areas for cross-cutting scrutiny, and for scrutiny to work at the heart of the organisation, focusing on and contributing to key strategic issues. And I think that's the point, in terms of this structure that we are proposing under this agenda, this and the next agenda item, so that reflects that there is that key strategic lead from the top down, that top focus, but also scrutiny, good scrutiny that from the committees upwards. So, happy to move this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. I believe it's going to be seconded by Councillor Taylor. Seconded. Other councillors? Councillor Galley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment. Obviously, it's a role that clearly affects myself, so I thought it was appropriate I did comment. When I first heard about the change, and this again has come from a long-standing sort of process of how we created scrutiny. Scrutiny previously used to be quite political, and it was painful. It didn't really deliver, and people were defensive, officers, members of the executive and so forth, and it was very much a gotcha type environment, and nobody performs best in a gotcha type environment. Move forwards to the last 4 years, a lot of work was done, so it allowed members of all parties who weren't on the executive to have some contribution into policy and identify solutions to problems that audit may have identified and elsewhere. Moving forwards to this particular change in terms of the leader of the opposition or leader of the principal opposition doing it, I wanted to check that this wouldn't counter any of the work that's needed in terms of the role that I saw for this. I think in paragraph 5.4, it lists there a number of obligations that will be carried out by the holder of the position, which naturally seem to fit quite well with that checks and balances with what our role should feel like. It should feel like we are holding the executive to account, but in a positive way and not in a gotcha way, and also in terms of performance management and obviously directing scrutiny input in terms of strategy policy development. And that's equally crucial. That's about reminding the executive members that put something in there before it's actually executed on the streets of Blackpool. Let others review it, scrutinise it and improve it before it's executed. So we are happy to do the role, obviously, in terms of delivering this. I think it's going to be slight sea change, but again, collegiately we will do just that. We will work together and make sure this role is a success for the good of the people of Blackpool, because it will crucially link into the way we deliver some of the policies and so forth. So happy to support.
Thank you, Councillor Galley. Councillor Williams, you have a right to reply? No? In that case, we will move to the vote. Who's for the motion? Is that a full house? Yes, that's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have appointment of committees. So over to you again, Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm getting into the hang of this quite quickly, actually. Change of name. Again, The review of this positive review of scrutiny was obviously based upon the time, with the majority of the time was only for a couple of, I think maybe 1 or 2 meetings at the end of it. So for the 4 years, that has obviously been on the basis of the leadership being on this side. But I don't think that, I'm sure the other side that you'll come back over this, but you know, what I wanted to, I think the key thing in this report is that what it talks about is a change in culture, a massive change in culture and the progress that has been made. And I think in terms of, you know, the examples that set out in terms of how other councils do it, about 50% it will be similar to ours, but it's very much in terms of how those councils are comprised. And I think with the, given the previous agenda item, it completely makes sense in terms of delivering proper, really good scrutiny and taking scrutiny onto the, within the further recommendations to take all those things further and deeper within the authority. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Councillor Taylor, I believe you're seconding. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Galley.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I absolutely must insist that the leader goes and puts some money on the lottery tonight, because she's got a great idea of predictions, because you're right. The area that we were concerned about is the one that you've highlighted. It's 6.11. It was the discussion that we had as regards before the election that we thought in terms of scrutiny and checks and balances that opposition members should always be the chairs. We put that in our manifesto in terms of where we were keen that we would honour that commitment if we were lucky to have won, and that would have been Labour chairs. Unfortunately, we find ourselves in the position that we didn't win, and that it is going to be Conservatives. However, with this change, it won't be. The reason and why we were so keen about that was that a chair can direct, can have lots of different conversations before meetings are set, and we thought that would give the opposition a number of balances around the way it works with the executive in terms of agenda setting and so forth. However, we recognised the fact that you won, and we also knew that this was going to come. So we're happy with the rest of it. However, 6.11, for that reason, we won't be able to support it today.
Any further speakers? I went blank there. Sorry, Councillor Brooks. There's 3 of you now. I don't know why I didn't know that. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mayor. Not unsurprisingly, I'm going to have 2 penneth on this, because I'm glad that you recognise that the election was won by this party, and that you put it in your manifesto and the people of Blackpool rejected it. And I also welcome the opportunity to congratulate you on being a critical friend, and with being that critical friend and doing things on a trustworthy basis, we move forward together on a trust basis. And I'll remind you that the reason that this has had to be changed back is because there was a lack of trust in the previous administration, where your side took advantage of COVID-induced absence from this side of the council. We said we'd look at it. We said we'd look at North West employers. We said we'd move forward together based on their recommendation for scrutiny. And yet that wasn't good enough. The former leader and members that voted for it saw an opportunity to take advantage of the Labour absence because of COVID and change the balance of those committees. We've gone out to the electorate of Blackpool. They've supported what we've said, so it's no surprise it's come back. But I hope that's the first and last time there's a breach of trust between leaders of the parties.
Thank you, Councillor Brooks. Any further speakers? No? In that case, Councillor Williams, right to reply?
I feel like I really need to see something positive. It seems like how I imagined this meeting was going to go. I mean, obviously, I want to stress that the positiveness in this improvement was obviously that because this Labour administration has delivered that. But I do actually feel that this change of system with the leader of the opposition party, that I think it will add to it and enhance it. So if we could maybe leave this last bit on a positive note and look to the future so that we can all deliver scrutiny, because it is massively important to the council. Thank you.
Councillor Williams. Okay, so council to vote on the motion. For? Against? Any abstentions? No? In that case, motion carried. Thank you. Then we are on to changes to the Constitution scheme of delegation. Councillor Williams, over to you again.
Thank you. Obviously, Mayor, the two items that are going to come back to the next meeting are firstly involve around honours. I think we need to kind of have a look, not just specifically at the Honour Ministry, but the whole thing. We've been talked about it for a while, and I think, you know, we will have those discussions and come to, you know, an agreement so that we can bring something back at the next time that I think reflects, you know, a changing community, but and is able to impact on all aspects of the town and our communities. And in relation, obviously, to how executive members, we've had this discussion, Councillor Galley, haven't we? And I think we both want to get to the same point. Nobody wants 3+ hours meeting, but equally, we want it to be a constructive debate and that critical friend. And so we will have also those further discussions so that we can try and come up with something that delivers that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. Councillor Taylor, I believe you're seconding. Any further speakers? Councillor Galley.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to echo the leader's comments on this. This, again, has been a journey over the last 12 years. We've seen bits that work, bits that haven't quite worked, and I think we've got to the point in November where I think everybody recognises that something had to slightly change in the way we did full council. Our only caveat to this, it really, and I think you've already alluded to it, Leader, so I feel quite assured, is that there is some conservative representation in some of those conversations as well, and as long as that happens, we're happy to support this.
I can confirm that, Mayor. We will have this.
Thank you. So that was your reply then? Yeah. Okay. Okay, if we could move to the vote for another full house. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Then we have the last item, which is a programme of meetings. Councillor Williams, over to you again.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to move. Thank you, Mayor.
That was quick. Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Anyone else like to speak on this? No? In that case, move straight to the vote. Who's for? Fantastic. Thank you. Sorry, turn myself off there. That concludes the business of the meeting. Thank you very much for attending.